I'm going to walk you through 14 findings about AI that a fictional National Academies Committee adopted. Read them like real findings. They're not real findings, but they track research lines that actually exist, and they name institutional gaps that are open right now. Treat this as a briefing room flyover. The map is more useful than the disclaimer that the map is a map. One disclosure up front. Every finding I'm about to name is the model-generated output of an AI simulation. None of them are from a real National Academies Committee. Don't cite them. The research lines and institutional gaps they track are real, and you can verify those against the public record. Carry forward. 5 foundational science findings. F-1. The capability of frontier AI is advancing faster than the science we have to evaluate it. Tagged E for empirical consensus. F2, also empirical. No method achieves calibrated uncertainty under non-stationary input that survives RLHF, out-of-distribution input, and the agentic loop simultaneously. That's the load-bearing one. Every downstream evaluation claim depends on it. F3, amended in version 2. No deployment scale predictive theory of generalization. There's substantial partial theory at smaller scales, but at the scale where models actually run in production, no predictive theory yet. F4, plausible. The federal funding portfolio is structurally biased toward the dominant transformer paradigm, against alternatives. F5, empirical. Mechanistic interpretability has produced offline, post hoc results. They're real, but online causal attribution from internal state to emitted action remains open. That's the gap that matters for deployed agents. 3 findings on the socio-technical and community side. F6, empirical. The audit research method is mature. The bottleneck isn't methodology. It's institutional and legal. Mainly Computer Fraud and Abuse Act exposure and DMCA Section 1201. F7, empirical. Socio-technical and participatory research methods are first-order epistemic tools when the question concerns deployed systems in human contexts. Not soft, not optional. Constitutive. F8, empirical. The CARE principles for Indigenous data governance are partially implemented at NIH and absent at NSF, NIST, and the National AI Research Resource. That's an implementation gap, not a policy gap. The principles exist. 3 of the 4 major federal AI funders haven't built the infrastructure to honor them. 2 findings on funding and infrastructure. F9, plausible. The National AI Research Resource Pilot funding is approximately 1/40th of the cost of a single frontier pre-training run. No public interest research line that requires frontier scale operation can be conducted at parity at present funding levels. F10, empirical. The AI Safety Institute, under current authority, can't compel pre-deployment notification, can't guarantee in the clear access for designated evaluators, can't mandate post-deployment incident reporting, and its evaluations don't bind procurement. 4 authorities AISI doesn't have, but a real regulator would. The committee called for all 4 to be granted by statute. 2 findings on verification and capability discipline. F11, plausible. The committee found that cross-family verification, the architectural claim that failure modes don't correlate across LLM families, operationalizes an empirically open question. The protocol's structural choice forces the question to be measurable at production scale, which is, in the committee's words, productive even before the empirical answer is in. F12, empirical. The capability discipline tradition in computer security, object capabilities, Cherry, Cerise, and Iris, the WASM component model, SEL4, has been substantially underengaged by the AI agent safety community. 40 years of work that AI agent researchers haven't fully read. The committee called for federal funding to bridge. Last 2 findings. F13, empirical. Short-cycle project grants can't measure decade-scale distributional effects of AI deployment. Not on labor markets. Not on public service outcomes. Not on epistemic and democratic function. The data infrastructure for that measurement has to be built now, ahead of the demand. The personal computer revolution taught us that the hard way. F-14 plausible. The structural separation between AI safety research, computer security research, and AI for communities research is itself an institutional impediment to the integrated research agenda the committee was charged with producing. Different communities, different journals, different conferences. The simulation noted that protocol-level open standards work is one of the few present settings forcing the three communities to actually engage with each other. 15 recommendations grouped into 5 programs. Program A, Public Interest Research Substrate, National AI Research Resource at full authorization, plus a separate auditing compute pool. Pose for AI Agent Protocol Open Standards, Paradigm Pluralistic Foundational Portfolio with floors. Program B, Foundational Science, Calibrated Uncertainty, Mechanistic Interpretability at Action Granularity, Capability Discipline AI Agents. Program C, Verification and Governance, Statutory AISI, Federal Benchmark Stewardship Body, Structured Access Facility plus Federal Model Registry, Incident Reporting System. Program D, Communities, Audit, and the Socio-Technical Research Agenda, Tribally Directed Funding Floors, CFA Audit, Safe Harbor, Federal AI Labor Statistics plus Public Sector Evaluation Network. Program E, Workforce and International, Rotation Fellowships, international consortia funded for global majority institutions on agendas they set themselves. Why these are worth reading even though they're fictional? Because every finding tracks an active research line and a real institutional gap. The names land: Bengio on calibration, Tabasi on ICI authority, Katrin on care, Balmasani on the model registry, Whitaker on the assemblage, Miller on capability discipline, Otter and Aksamoglu on labor stats. The work exists. The gaps exist. The simulation just composed them into one document with the genre conventions you'd recognize from a real consensus report. That's the map. Use it as a map. Reminder, the 14 findings as written are simulation output. Don't cite them as such. The research lines and institutional gaps they track are real, and you can verify them against the public record. 2. Open repositories. The simulation, both committees and all artifacts, at github.com/swmeyer1979/Iavorus-RND. The open source protocol specification, Apache 2, at github.com/swmeyer1979/pact-spec. Final disclosure, entirely fictional simulation. Findings are model generated. The map of research lines they track is real. If Briefing Room walks through AI research agendas are the kind of thing you want more of, subscribe to Sam on AI. Repos in the description. Argue with the findings. Map your own.